Hi everyone, it's Paola. So I am back with another video, and today's video is really exciting because it's another critique video. So I've done two of these before, so if you haven't seen them, go check them out on my channel. I'll link them in the description. But yeah, they're super fun because it's basically where you guys send me your design work and then I critique it, and we continue to have a big discussion. You know, we talk about positives, we critique, we can continue this in the comments. It's basically beneficial for everyone. And trust me, I'm not just trying to say that I'm better than anyone or like I have authority in this matter. Like, yeah, I'm a graphic designer and I have this platform, but it's a great way for you guys to get feedback from a designer and just like have a cool conversation with everyone. This will hopefully be helpful for you who have submitted work and then also for you who are just watching, because it's a critique, it's a big conversation about work and art, and hopefully we can all learn something. So I hope you're excited too. I got a lot of responses. I basically put out on Instagram and YouTube in the community tab for you guys to submit your work to me. So if you missed that, I'm sorry. But yeah, follow me on Instagram and check out my YouTube page, like on the community tab, to make sure that you're kept up to date when I'm posting. And yeah, let's do it. No, I got a lot more responses than I expected, so I'm unfortunately not going to be able to get to everyone, but I picked randomly. I'm keeping it fair, and I'm gonna keep doing these like every few months, so hopefully if you missed out this time, you'll be able to get in next time. So let's get critiquing. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna look at is an app launch event invite. So let's put that up on the screen. I'm gonna be kind of looking at my phone and then have it up on the screen for you guys to see. So right off the bat, what I like about it is that there's two variations, and that the two variations are very different but still go really, really well together. You've kept the type consistent on both invites, and I really like that you utilized color in one in a different way that you used it in the other. Like the combination of the black and the blue, I think is really strong. Overall, I really like the concept, but I think for an app, it doesn't really translate that well. To me, it looks like it's some sort of event for something a little more fancy than maybe an app event would be, and it doesn't really scream like technological or anything really about what the app is actually about. So I think that is something that you would need to communicate a little bit better in the imagery, but I do like the imagery in general. Okay, the next one is cover art for a song that's being released soon, and right off the bat it really looks like an established like music cover art for like an album or something, so that's really cool. I think you really translated that well, and I hope what I'm getting across from the cover is that the song will be about maybe like childhood and maybe like you thinking about your goals and the future. So if that is what the song is about, then I think you translated it and did a really good job, because if like the young person, if that's like an old photo of the person who made this and then having ambition over it. And also I really think that the typeface is a good choice because it kind of reminds me of an alarm clock, so like an old alarm clock. So yeah, I really think that's strong because it kind of reminds me of like getting up and getting going and that idea. So I think that is really strong. The background, I'm not sure if I would go for like a dark red, but that totally is up to preference, style, whatever. But overall, I think it is really strong and I really like it. Okay, now we're gonna look at brand identity for a zoo, which is a great concept, so let's get into that. Can I just say, something about this typeface that you used in here is like so satisfying to me. I just really like looking at it, and I feel like it looks like the perfect combination of fun and professional. I feel like it kind of evokes the feeling of a zoo that's like kind of ecological, kind of earthy, but also kind of like corporate in a way. Does that make sense? I don't really know. I'm like combining words that I'm thinking of. It's like the first things that are popping into my head. But yes, that's what I'm thinking of. I also really appreciate that you did not use stark white in the typeface and in the design. You use kind of this cream beige color, and that really works. It softens it up and it just makes the logo look a lot more approachable than I think bright white would. I also think your mock-ups are really strong, but also be careful about your positioning in your mock-ups. So some of this stuff looks very close to the edge, like on the business cards. The margins just look a little bit small, and on the zoo, like where it says zoo, I feel like that's not completely centered and maybe it was a screenshot or an image, but make sure that when you put these things into your photos and into your mock-ups that they are completely centered and how you actually want them to look. But overall, I really love this project and I think you did a great job. Now we're gonna look at this logo and business card design. So what I'm assuming from this design is that this is for you as a designer and your logo and your business card. And overall, I think it looks very, very professional, and it does look very, very corporate, which I'm not sure if that's the vibe you're going for, but if you are, I think you've done a great job. It looks like very sleek, very professional, and sort of masculine, which if that's your energy, that's your vibe, cool, go for it. I think just with my design style, I'm like very feminine, so sometimes I like have a hard time adjusting into like the masculine designs, but I totally get it and see what you're doing. I think maybe what you could do with the typeface on the RW designs part, I really like the R and the W being unique and different, and like the type being like kind of sketchy like that. But then designs underneath, I don't think really needs it. It is going to be very small on a business card, and just how it looks, it doesn't make the RW as special. I feel like if you had designs, maybe with those exact same spacing and everything, but if you had it in a different typeface, see how it looks and see what you like better. But I really like the uniqueness of the RW, and I don't think you need to translate that into the other part. But overall, I really like this design, and I think that you've done a really good job. I feel like you definitely know what you're doing with typography, and the business card looks really, really strong and professional. Okay, now we're gonna look at this poster design, like social media post for a Hot Ones event, basically because it's hip hop and hot wings, which that sounds like an incredible event that I would like to be invited to, please. So I love that you have like a video design and that you're utilizing social media with this post, and honestly, like, I really, really appreciate the design, but I do have one concern that it does look a lot like the Hot Ones like YouTube show logo, and I'm not sure if that's like a copyright issue or like a copying issue. I'm not really sure, like, don't quote me on that and don't think that I'm like hating on it. I just know that it's similar, or like that you've taken like inspiration from it. So I'm not really sure on like what the logistics are on that, but I do really like it, and I feel like you've done a really good job, especially with like adding it into like an event and like the mock-up. I just think that it looks so cool, and you've brought it all together really seamlessly. But yeah, just that issue of like it being another person's logo, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, overall, looks like a really cool event, and like I love that you utilize like the video and the flashing light and everything. Okay, let's talk about this food truck menu and packaging design for the downtown farm stand. Overall, I think your concept is really strong, and I could really see those menus like being real and being physical printed products, which is really cool. And I love also like with the mock-ups, I feel like mock-ups are just a great opportunity in general for people to explore what their design would actually go on. So sometimes your mock-ups can kind of make or break your project, especially if you're presenting it in like a class as a student project, because you want to be realistic about what you're making and, you know, where you see this design going, and show that you have that vision. And I think with you, you've really found that vision. I mean, like, it being a food truck and a restaurant, like having water bottles and, you know, cups, to-go cups, and thinking through the process of like how the truck would actually look, I think it shows that you've thought it out a lot and that you've planned, and you know what it would look like printed. And that's what I feel like I'm really getting out of this, and I really support it. So go you. So let's talk about this golf club logo now, because you actually sent me in the message like that you haven't added color to it and what you would do with color, and you wanted to know what I would do. So first of all, this is for everyone. If you want to know, when you're designing a logo, design it in just black and white first. I don't want you to add color when creating a logo first, because you will kind of get overwhelmed or start thinking of it only in that way, when you really want to design a logo in black and white so you can see how it's going to look at a really small scale. A really big scale, is the logo itself too detailed? Before you start getting into color and all of that, you want to figure out how it's going to look all different ways and all different kinds of like print, digital, like all of that. You want to think that through before you start adding color. So I'm really glad that you came to me asking about color and that you haven't added color, because it shows that you know what you're doing when designing this kind of logo. So I really like this logo. The one thing that I would say could be fixed maybe a little bit is bringing that golf club part up a little bit. So golf club 1895, just make it closer to the Bearsted, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, part of the logo. And that I feel like would make it a little bit stronger. Or also even scaling it down just a little bit and not moving it up. could potentially make it a little bit stronger, but I do like it a lot. And yeah, let's talk about color. I think with color, something that you could do is just highlight the color of the bear, and maybe in just one plain color, like don't try to overdo the bear because I like how simplified it is, and then maybe the part underneath would be a different color. But I like maybe utilizing black within this logo because, you know, it's bold and you're trying to get the name to stand out, and I think it really does, especially with the typeface you've chosen. Okay, so now let's talk about this like logo brand identity for this mattress company, which is, you know, this is like a fake thing for portfolio, which I love. I always support anyone making up like their fake product or fake client to put in their portfolio. I mean, it's so much fun and you can do whatever you want. So it's like basically a personal project. So yeah, guys, keep doing that. Love that. So let's talk about this. The overall thing that I would say is that I do like the logo itself. I think that is actually really strong, and I think it does kind of evoke the feeling of a mattress or sleep or any of that. So this actually is the Latin word for sleep. That's what she told me. The part that I think needs some work is changing the how do you part. So I think maybe changing the position of that little section, those words, or, you know, bringing it closer to the actual logo itself, and then maybe changing the background. I think these things will make it a lot stronger. So the half moon thing, I think, makes it look a little bit more childish or youthful than an established company, which is not necessarily a bad thing. If you want a youthful look, that's okay. Definitely pay attention to your pattern and where your pattern ends and begins. Like on the right, there's a big gap of where the pattern is positioned. So just focus on little things like that. And overall, I think it could be a lot stronger and you could still evoke these same vibes that you're going for with maybe making the words in like a cream or a white and then having a darker background. I think that could be a lot more interesting and maybe a lot more bold. But overall, I really like the logo itself and I think you've done a really good job. Okay, let's talk about this oat milk and coconut milk and almond milk packaging thing. Wow. Sorry, I've been sitting here a long time. I'm kind of going crazy and I'm running out of words. I really, really like this packaging. There is something about it that is so accessible and so now that I feel like you've really captured. Like, you've really captured the vibe that a lot of these young startup companies are going for, and that is something that really resonates with people my age. So totally get your vibe. But I love that you have incorporated this really strong typography and logo with the illustration and color that you've chosen. I just think that it goes together seamlessly and I really, really appreciate your work. I feel like sometimes when you guys send me stuff, I like don't have enough to say to you, but I really want to highlight it because I want you guys to have this platform too and to be able to discuss all of this. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this package design because I really, really support it. Okay, so let's talk about this MoMA event poster. So I do understand that this was a project, so like you had to do like certain amounts of things, like you had to type in all this information and stuff, so I totally get that. See where you're coming from for sure. What I love about this poster is the little zoom in on the change of color on top of the letters with the circles. I think that is so cute and like such a clever idea for a poster. It like actually kind of inspires me and I want to do something with that. Where I think you've lost me a little bit is not in the typography so much, but in the extras. So the dots all over the page, I think it just brings it a little into, like, again, with that youthful critique that I had, I feel like this kind of brings it into that youthful idea. And I feel like with a museum, you're not really trying to get that feeling. Maybe you are trying to get the contemporary feeling, but I feel like maybe if you use a different shape or, you know, like lines or rectangles coming into the poster, I think maybe it would make that feeling a little bit stronger. But overall, I feel like because you use primary colors as well, and then, you know, green, I think you've kind of brought out that like playful young energy. So maybe rethink that if that's not what you want, but definitely like a lot of the colors that you have used are good. I just think maybe you've used too many. So maybe like pare it down, think about what you're doing with that, and then maybe it might be a little bit stronger, but overall I do like the design. And last but not least, I'm going to critique a web page, so like a homepage of a website that someone submitted. So this is her website, and honestly, I love it. I am trying to like rework my website because I'm I always hate it, like every 2 seconds. I'm like, this sucks. So yeah, this is actually really cool and I really appreciate this. I love that everything is just kind of floating in space. One thing that I think could make it a little bit stronger is maybe adding like movement in the effects. So maybe having things float up as you scroll through the page. That is a very simple effect to do if you have a website host like Squarespace or Wix or whatever. But yeah, that I think could make it a lot cooler, but I love that you can scroll through, and especially on desktop, I think it looks great. I'm looking here on my phone and it does look cool, but I think it's like more zoomed in on the desktop, which I love. And yeah, I just love your whole aesthetic, and I think that you've pulled it off really well with like adding what you talk about, what you do, like your Instagram, your social media, like all of that coming together. It really shows who you are, and I think you did a great job. Okay, so that was what I have for you today. I hope this was helpful for all of you, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't get to everyone. Now that our community has grown so much, it's been like overwhelming at times, but it's really exciting that so many of you are excited about this kind of video and like want to participate, so I'll definitely be doing it more. Yeah, if you liked it, please give it a like, and hopefully you'll submit in the next one. Hopefully you'll get to the next one. I'm really sorry. I feel so bad. Okay, I need to stop apologizing. But anyway, yes, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also ring the bell to get notified when I upload, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! That was tiring, and I am very stressed today, but I still sat down and got this done because I was really excited about it. You know what? I need to get my life together.